In the year of our Lord, 2026. I hope you're having a great morning, and I hope the last 21 hours have gone well for you. I'm here, Big Sky Mountain Mosley's here. We got some special guests in the studio, but we are broadcasting to as many people who are smart enough to listen to this program, not only in the state of Alabama, but across the globe, and we are glad you're here. Bryan Dawson is with me, and Eubank is in the wings waiting to come in. Bryan, welcome to the program. I hope you're well. I don't get to see you very often, but glad to have you back.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. Fired up. I've been doing a little bit more radio. That's kind of something I'm trying to move into as we've gotten more established. Where July 1st was 5 years since I started it, but October 18th will be 5 years since we started publishing. So October 18th will be 5 years.
Really, 5 years.
And so now that we're built, we're established, we're kicking butt and taking names, as the FCC would have me say, rather than the other one. I'm now trying to get on the radio, go do those kind of things, and I got to fill in for Andrew McLean on Monday, and now I'm hitting the radio show
fantastic.
today. Yeah. So happy to be here, Scott.
Well, I'm glad you were here, and we talk a lot, try to get people to go to your podcast, 1819 News, the podcast with Bryan Dawson. They can find it at YouTube preferably, but any of the other places where you find your favorite podcast. And I mean, you're doing some strong stuff over there. And I don't know if you want to talk about that first. I don't know if you want to talk about Alabama politics first, or Alabama the things that are going on. The elections are beginning to heat up a little bit early here in the state of Alabama. Dr. Fauci is in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you heard yet, but he went in and pled the fifth.
Are we hanging him?
We're not hanging him yet.
That's unfortunate.
He's apparently he and his lawyers are going to go down that road of I have an auto pen pardon from, well, not from Joe Biden, but whoever ran the auto pen. And the only way I get in trouble is to perjure myself before Congress. Therefore, I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah.
And that seems to be where they are. And I'm with you. I'm fine with the public hanging and hanging the people who are manipulating the system so that people like him get away with what he has done.
If he, of course, after a trial and a jury of his peers, hopefully a bunch of peers that are vaccine injured and had family that suffered, and I mean, I don't want anybody's families to have died or have suffered. However, that's a real thing. And so hopefully the jury pool will be made up of that. And after that trial, I would love to see him swinging from a light post with Fox News and all the other cameras on it. 1819 will be there reporting live.
Absolutely.
And that sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, if you can kill millions of people and get away with it, there is no justice, and why should anyone follow the law, right? And of course, there would be justice on me and you if we broke the law.
Well, I was saying that yesterday, that part of the reason people are so frustrated, there's a very high frustration level among what I call regular Americans.
Yeah.
Because, and I know it's a little hyperbole, but you can have a Fauci doing the things he did, and you can have Epstein and his buddies and ilk and all that doing the things that clearly they are into terrible stuff. But you and I are worried whether we have our stupid little piece of paper from the auto insurance company in our glove box
when we get pulled over.
Yeah. Because like, oh my gosh, this one, sir, this one expired. But when did it expire? It expired in June. And you're like, oh no, I don't have the right little piece of paper in my car. And these people are doing horrendous things,
raping kids to death and killing people with medical technology. Yeah, allegedly. So man, and I think worse than Fauci and Epstein getting away, and I'll make my case for why this is worse. Like, of course, like we've almost come to understand that there's a class of people in our country that will face no justice because of the class that they exist in.
Right.
But how about all those freaking people, those Somalians in Minnesota that are going to face zero justice for the billions of dollars they bilked? And you have people that get up every single day at 4 a.m. and get in their truck and drive to a manufacturing plant and work their ass off to pay the bills and feed their kids and pay into the tax system. Meanwhile, you got these Somalis. I did a React video where there's this Somalian guy. He's like, you go to work for me, white boy. You go to work. You pay your taxes so I eat, right? And like that's how they feel.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And they are bilking the system up there for billions of dollars. They're in cahoots with Keith Ellison and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim. And they figured out this system of how they can just absolutely, set up the quality learning centers. There's these autism things where every Somali kid has autism. I guess they define that by like sub 80 IQ, maybe.
I mean, it's possible.
They all have sub 80 IQs. That is true. And then they create these little. Anyway, you guys all saw the Nick Shirley stuff, but there's Devin Foley of 1819 News is actually in Minnesota and relocating this month, or in August, excuse me, as a refugee from Minnesota to come to Alabama. And so he's got eyes on a lot of stuff up there. They're just abusing the system and bilking it for billions while we're getting up making, paycheck to paycheck to keep, our lights on. Right. And these guys are robbing everybody blind, and there's no justice to them. And they are not part of that class of people that the law shouldn't apply to. And so the mix between, pedophile sex ring people and medical industrial complex, I learned a new word through COVID. Genocide is when a government goes over to another country and kills that population. Okay. Democide is when the government kills its own population.
Oh, that's a word?
That's a word, democide.
Really?
Yeah, Devin actually taught me that.
Oh, well, that's
democide.
Democide, yeah. Okay.
So that's what happened, by the way. Our government literally culled the herd. And I have a theory that the people who it killed pretty much immediately were all the people who were a burden on the healthcare system.
They were older or about to be a burden on the Social Security system.
Exactly, all that. And so they're like, hey, we need a good culling. And we also got to get Trump out of there. 2 birds, 1 stone. Boom.
Yeah, we got mail-in ballots across the country.
Correct. We got Biden in there. And so they were able to dethrone Trump and also cull the herd. These people are part of the culture of death. They believe in the Malthusian ethic, to where there's too many people in the world and they have to thin the herd, which is insane. And everything they do, and anyway, I'm not going to go into the occult at this point. I feel like I've said enough.
Well, I think people are, and that is another topic we need to talk about on another day. And maybe you've had somebody on your podcast talking about that very thing. Is how many Americans are beginning to understand that all these things are a battle between good and evil, between Jesus and demonic activity and Satan. And because we struggle so often going, I don't really understand. Why would they do that? Why would they be for this? People wouldn't do that. No one would do. No, absolutely people would do those kinds of things. And people are waking up. There's a number of podcasts out there, and people are seeing clips from those on social media that, no, this is real darkness, where people are garnering real power and making legitimate deals with the devil to be able to rule others.
Yes, and I like, if you could sum my podcast up in one theme, it's exactly what you're talking about. Is I'm trying to have just reasonable conversations to show people the meta narrative that's going on right now, the overarching story that's happening. Because you get locked into COVID, you get locked into Epstein, you get locked into whatever, and it's like 100%. But it'll make a lot more sense if you understand the overarching story. And it goes back to the garden, okay? And I'm not going to break it all the way down, but essentially, Christians, modern evangelical Christians, believe that the gospel is just to get people into heaven. Okay. And they've turned Christianity into a pyramid scheme. All right, I'm saved, now do I do? You go preach the gospel to other people and get them into heaven. It's like, okay. Well, the gospel does get you into heaven, but it doesn't end there. And so from, Christ being born, living, dying a sacrificial death, being raised from the dead, one of the things that we in evangelicalism don't understand is the ascension and the enthronement. We don't talk about that. Christmas, we celebrate, his birth. Good Friday, we revere his death. Easter Sunday, we celebrate him rising from the dead, and that's it. And it's like, well, the ascension and the enthronement are huge. And what that means, he rose from the dead, but then he ascended into the heavens, where he sits at the right hand of his Father, and he's enthroned as King of Kings, Lord of Lords. The beginning of the Great Commission says, all authority in heaven and on earth belongs to me. Go therefore and make disciples and baptize them and teach them to obey all that I have commanded. Right? And we don't talk about that. And so discipleship is not only getting them into heaven, it's teaching them to obey. Right. And when a bunch of people are saved and then possessed by the Holy Spirit and taught to obey, the formation that inevitably happens is a Christian civilization. And that's exactly what happened. There was a dispersion of Christians, and Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire within 300 years. The most powerful empire on the earth at that time was taken over by Christians. And it became a Christian empire. And then they moved north into Europe, and they Christianized Europe. The gospel invaded Europe. And
with an expectation of using that sovereignty that was given to the rulers to spread Christianity, with an expectation of obeying what Jesus had taught. And that's confrontational.
Yeah.
And so we abandoned it.
Yeah.
With the if I'll just be nice, somebody will wander into my church theology.
Yeah, and it goes farther. And so,
let's take a break.
Okay.
Goes farther. You don't want to miss that. We're going to have that on the other side. We will be right back.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Show you can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
We have to stop kowtowing. Welcome back into the program, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Bryan Dawson from 1819 News is on with us. You can check out us on YouTube if you go find us and look at live. You can look at Bryan Dawson with his peachy shirt on today. Where you going? You got to go to meetings?
Just got meetings, man. That's what I do.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you do those, and I just get to talk to regular people and do the things we're doing. So you were going to finish up on the thought.
Yeah. So the meta narrative is this, and the point that I'm making is that there's a story that God is telling, and so, I mean, I've written about this before, but it gets into the garden, and that that in the curse it says that the seed of the woman is going to crush the head of the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the serpent is Satan and those who follow him in his schemes, and so there's this battle between the seed of the woman, who is Christ. And Christ raises from the dead, and it says that basically those who believe in him are his many brothers, right?
Right.
And those many brothers are dispersed take over the Roman Empire, gospel invades Europe, Christianizes Europe, and think about everything in Europe for like a period of 1,000 years was done for the glory of God. The cathedrals, the castles, the art and architecture that we still marvel at today.
The things that our historians call dark.
Yeah, the Dark Ages, right? When everything was Christianized and worked and functioned properly and was actually objectively good, true, and beautiful. And then from there, Christians sailed with the risk of almost certain death across this huge body of water called the Atlantic Ocean and planted the flag of Christ on this continent and Christianized and civilized and colonized. We were colonies, and colonization is actually good. Enter hanging Bryan in the streets now.
Right.
And we colonized and turned this into a Christian nation. And so what this is it's Western civilization used to be called Christendom, where Christ has dominion. That means that Christ is ruling and reigning through his covenant people on this earth. He's taking real ground for Christ on this earth because he's Lord of heaven and Lord of earth.
Right.
Okay? And so the war that is happening, they can't kill Christ. They tried that. And he rose from the dead.
Okay.
And was enthroned.
Right.
So they're at war with his civilization, his ground here on this earth. The other thing we've done is we're very agnostically believe that this earth doesn't matter. We're going to get raptured next Tuesday and it's going to be Armageddon. Total bullcrap. The church has never believed that until the 1800s and really until the 1900s. Right. They understood that when it says, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." We're heavenizing earth through covenant faithfulness. That's what our job is to do. And so the war is against Christian civilization, and the absolute engine of Christian civilization is the Christian family. And so the entire culture war that we face is a culture of death that is at war trying to prevent Christian families from forming and flourishing. What is abortion? What is homosexuality? What is transgenderism? What is birth control? What is this culture of putting off marriage and not having kids and all this Malthusian ethic? It is
don't have very many kids.
They're going to the root and the engine of Christian civilization culture. It's like when we close the border, we can deal with the immigrants, but we got to close the border. Well, that's their strategy. If we can destroy the Christian family, there will be no more building of civilization, and then we can destroy the civilization. Does that make sense? So there's a war going on against Christ's civilization on earth, which is Western civilization. And the ideology that we're up against, communism, Bolshevism, Marxism, secular humanism, atheism, it's all the same thing. It's the same exact ideology, and it's an antichrist ideology.
And that's why groups that don't like each other, the LGBTQ movement and Islam, are fine being buddies.
You
as
hate
long
Jesus?
as
I hate Jesus too. Let's go destroy civilization.
And we'll fight again after.
Correct. We'll fight over the pieces. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly right. And so that is the war that is going on. And the only way that we can defend that is to objectively realize, they're trying to destroy Christ's civilization. How do we do that? Well, we get back to being a Christian civilization, which means that we need to have Christ ruling and reigning in our land again. And so you go back to 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will repent of their wicked ways and turn from me, I will hear from heaven and I will heal their land. That's what we have to go back to.
And what I think happens in our churches, most of our churches, and I think I can speak as from a Southern Baptist perspective, and my church is arguably very conservative compared to where a lot of the denomination has gone, is that we're not willing to fight the fight. We don't expect Christianity to reign and rule.
Yeah.
We just think, well, we'll just, like I said earlier, if we'll just be nice about it, it'll all work out. And that's not, it's not working for us.
Vodi Bacchum, the 11th commandment, thou shalt be nice and forget the other 10. That is what we suffer from. And you can see it in all these evangelical guys. Not anytime, he's a sweet man. Bro, that is not helping. Jesus doesn't want sweet men. He wants men.
Right.
Okay? And we have gelded the Christian man. You basically have to chop your balls off and hand them to the freaking, usher when you walk into church and go in there and be a fag to go to church. It's insane. And the pastors are the worst. And then they're like, well, you shouldn't engage in politics. You could ruin your witness.
Right.
Well, what's the point of your witness? So you can share the gospel and get people into heaven. Well, guess what? The people who are most effective in their evangelism right now are the ones who are bold enough to display courage to fight these forces of darkness. And they're like, that dude has something I want.
Right. No, I agree. I agree completely, and I don't understand that. It's been something I've not wrestled with personally, but the idea of the church, the modern church, especially in the South, the lack of a warrior spirit.
Yeah.
And the for lack of a better term, the feminization
100%
of the church. And I'm seeing it bubble up in a lot of places where people are like, no, this is where the values we're going to stand on. And did you see the podcast? I think it's Sean Ryan was talking to one of the guys that's an exorcist. There's one that I really like, and there's one that I don't like quite as much. And I think of that, and I think of the Tucker Carlson one where he's talking about Russia. The exorcist guy is talking, he's asked by Sean Ryan about all the insanity, the Epstein stuff, the human sacrifice, just the real evil. And he says it's like almost all of our rulers are into these things. And he asked the guy, and he's like, well, I don't want to say, but remember when Putin said, "I'm not a fan of Putin." He's basically saying that.
Putin.
But he says when Putin said that the West is run by vampires and pedophiles, and he goes, that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is. I mean, evil is really there, and we're allowing them to set the guidelines, them to set the rules, and they will tell us what our society's like.
Yeah, and what's most interesting about Putin saying that is this iteration of this war against Christ started in Russia. This iteration, this chapter of the battle started in 1917 in the Bolshevik Revolution, or also called the Russian Revolution, where Russia used to be a Christian nation with Christian czars, Christian kings. It was a Christian monarchy.
Proudly Christian, one of the last ones.
Tsar Nicholas, right? And it was the last one of the Romanov Empire, and it was 400 years of Christian rule. And the Bolsheviks overthrew it, slaughtered the royal family, and communized, which was to say Satanized, Russia, and brought in Soviet Russia, which is all we know. But pre-Soviet Russia, it was Christian, and it looked very Western. The architecture was Eastern, but it was very Christian. And that is where it was overthrown. And the Bolshevik communist Soviets that took over Russia ended up moving west, and they did it through culture rather than by tank, plane, and traditional warfare.
Yeah. And then they embedded themselves. They came to America, whether it was Frankfurt School or whatever.
School, Herbert Marcuse, Alexander Gramsci, all that stuff. And they embedded themselves into the institutions. It started at Columbia University, took over our universities, took over seminaries and churches, took over public schools, took over every institution that we have has been completely hijacked by these people who hate Christ and want to see his people suffer.
All of the routes, the dissemination routes or routes, however we say it here in Alabama, the ways to get messaging out and change future generations, they took over.
Yeah, media, information, and entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they own it all. Prince of the power of the air.
So after this break we got to take, I want to know what you advise us to do.
My favorite thing to talk about.
All right, we'll be back.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
you can learn things. And I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
Welcome back in, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I am here. Bryan Dawson's here, and Eubank is on deck. She'll be up right after that. So, Bryan, we were talking about all the things where do you think we need to go? My position is pretty. I don't want to say out there, but I'm pretty solid on the state of Alabama. At least we can't do a lot about Washington D.C. We can't
we started 1819 that exact philosophy.
Yes. So where do we go? What should we do? I'm not worried about people calling us bad names. Oh, you're too Christian, or you're too this, or you're too hard right wing. Because clearly the experiment we've done for the last few decades with Marxism, socialism, atheism, paganism has not worked out good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, so everyone asks me that question after I go and speak and tell the story I just told. Bryan, what can we do? And I'm like, that's the most simple thing on the planet, actually. Mm-hmm. And so if we understand that Christian civilization is what the war is against, and that the foundation of Christian civilization is the formation and flourishing of the Christian family, therefore, the psychotic left, the progressives, the Marxists, the Bolsheviks, the communists, they're trying to destroy the Christian family, and every single person can participate in that. No, you can't all run for office. No, you're not all going to be governors. No, you're not all going to be. But and so here it is, very, very simple. The Bible tells you how your family should function. Okay. And I'm going to say some things that are extremely offensive, and it's like, that's okay. Right. We didn't know. Okay, we didn't know. We were taught from our pulpits not to do these things. But the Bible is crystal clear about children and a generational vision. And so if Christians would, when they're young, we train our children to get married when they're young and have as many Christian children as they possibly can, to get them the hell out of the public school system, between Deuteronomy 6 and Ephesians 6. Deuteronomy 6 says you should teach these things, talking about God's law,
right,
to your children when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down and when you rise. How often is that?
That's pretty much most
That's
of the day.
All the time. Yeah. Okay. So you have that, and then you have Ephesians 6:4 that says, train your children up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord, the nurture and admonition of the Lord. The reason every translation you read translates those two words differently is because there is no one-to-one English translation. The concept is called paideia.
Okay.
Okay. The paideia of the Lord is a full-orbed Christian enculturation, so that we are raising up children who will participate as Christian citizens in the Christian commonwealth. And so that is what has been done in the West forever until about 100 years ago. So what can you do? Well, if the war is to prevent Christian families from forming and flourishing, what we need to do as Christian families is form and flourish.
Right.
And so we need to encourage this next generation. They say, well, I can't afford to get married. I can't afford to buy a house. I can't afford to have kids. Yes, you can. The Lord is the one who provides. I made $30,000 a year when my wife came home, and we have 7 kids. We didn't then, and the Lord has continued to bless because we were covenantally faithful. He's the one who's going to supply your needs, and that is part of the covenant. Is you act in faith, you obey even when it doesn't look like you can. How many times have you tithed and didn't think you could, and you get a check in the mail that makes up for it, or whatever? Right. This is the Lord's economy, and all we're required to do is obey. And so if our families would form and flourish, and what that means to me is have as many children as the Lord would allow, and then keep your kids. Okay, we're losing 82% of our children to these people. Right. We have become breeders for the left. Our women go through the pain of childbearing and the stretch marks and pushing a human out of them and nursing them and nurturing them and cleaning up the pee and the puke and the sleepless nights with screaming babies, and then we turn them over to the government, and then they turn into communists. Right. We have become breeders for the left. We can't do that anymore. Right. We have to keep our kids. That is the number one thing that all of us can do. Okay? And the church should be teaching people how to do it, and instead they're doing the exact opposite. Don't get me started on youth groups, but I'll end there because I pissed enough people off.
Are there bad ones of those? I'm about to get you started.
Yeah, like you want your daughter to get knocked up by the youth group leader. It's a great place to start, And so, guy with skinny jeans is anyway. It's the whole thing. Again, if 82% of the planes fell out of the sky, would you put your kids on one? Right. So this model we're doing with youth group and public school and children's church and all this other stuff The Bible doesn't say anything about those things. And I'm not saying that they're inherently bad in and of themselves, but what's happening is that the onus and the burden of the responsibility of the discipleship of the children falls on the father.
Okay.
And yes, you can subcontract
I see what you're saying.
that out.
So youth group, so
It's an enabling them.
substitutionary. Hey, I don't have to teach them right from wrong. I don't have to teach them biblical precepts. I don't have to teach them what God says. Someone else will do it.
And specifically, there's almost a culture of, oh, Dad, you're kind of a retard, so don't try this at home.
Right.
And then the parents are like, I don't want to mess up my kid spiritually. He went to seminary. Which is the worst place to get a Christian education, by the way. He went to seminary. I trust him with my kids. And it's like the dude with the crazy hairdo and the skinny jeans, like, he knows Jesus better than me. I'm going to let him. And so, again, I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with children's church or with youth group, but what's happening is these programs are enabling fathers to not take responsibility for the discipleship, evangelism, and the spiritual formation of their children. It starts first in the home, and those things should just be little add-ons. So 7 days a week, is the goal. You should be, as a father in your home, opening your Bible, sing songs, sing psalms, sing hymns, spiritual songs, as the Bible says, with your family in your living room. Teach them the Word of God. Pray, okay? You're doing that, and then, if they go to a youth group or something, that's fine, but you have to be the one who's doing that. And if we can do that for the next 40 to 70 years, we win.
Right.
It's not about policies and all this other stuff, and we got to do that. It's like, man, if we could just do that one thing, and because that's the one thing that would allow us to win, there's going to be the biggest war on the planet against that thing.
Yeah, I would argue that the big war is, and where we miss it, especially as fathers, is God doesn't ask us to go and fix Washington.
Yeah.
Really. He says, look, I want you to follow me. I want you to pray. I want you to worship me. I want you to be in your word. I want you to seek me. And then you take care of yourself, take care of your family. Lead a quiet life, take care of your family. And if all of us were doing that and then being a part of the church community, because we had a bunch of fathers doing that, that's the one thing we don't want to do.
Yeah.
We want to get involved in that over there and this over here, and the left is worse about that. They don't even keep up with their family, because that's where the real victory is. And I think you're right. Satan draws us away from that. We want to send our kids to school. We want to send our kids to the youth group, or we'll farm all that out so we can focus on something that's really kind of easier.
Yeah.
Because it's a real battle when or football, sports,
hunting,
whatever. It's a real battle to do the things that God asks us to do that are the very things that would change ourselves, our family, our community, our country.
And it's a generational vision. We have to honor our fathers who came before us, and we need to think about our posterity that will come after us. And we don't do that as a civilization anymore.
No, we don't. Because we think it's over next week, next Tuesday.
Yeah.
We don't got to worry about it. We're just hanging on.
Yeah.
Till Jesus comes.
That's right. And I'm told by these guys that he's coming back really quickly, for real this time.
And he might. You know what I'm saying? He might.
I don't think so.
But
I think it's going to be a lot. I think it's thousands of years out.
But if he doesn't,
what are you doing?
And exactly. And I don't see any way that we get away with the excuse of I was just hanging on.
Yeah. And real quick on that, the same psychology that goes into global warming is the same exact science that goes into the dispensational rapture. Al Gore, the world in 1996 is going to be over from the ice caps melting, and it's like 97, and we're like, well, it looks kind of the same. And then they're like, well, if a generation is 40 years and 1948 Israel was formed, and that means in 1988 the rapture. Well, here we are in the year of our Lord 2026, as you said at the beginning of the show, and ain't no rapture. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. The church never taught that.
Well, that's
for
one of the
1,800 freaking years.
That's one of the things that made me start questioning a lot of what is taught, especially about end time stuff.
Yeah,
is that I'm old enough now to remember when things were supposed to have already happened.
Yeah,
and I'm like, y'all just, not to mention that when it was being taught, because you have to, well, the time stopped and we added 7 years and we jumped this and jumped that. And then you go to Ezekiel, and then you go to Daniel, and you go to so-and-so. And if you plug this in and both of those are there at the same time, you get, then it's definitely Tuesday.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there in Sunday school going, I don't really think so, but okay, that's what's being taught. We got to take a break, Sky? Doggone.
time.
I
It's
mean,
getting
we
about
have to
that
make
time.
obscene profits every day.
Yeah.
So let's take that real quick break. Bryan Dawson is with us for one more segment, and we'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason. Your news and headline
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back in, everybody. Bryan Dawson told me a big monster fib during the break. He said that he could sum up his point really quickly, which I don't believe.
Okay,
But,
6 minutes. Let's put it to
6
the
minutes.
test.
All right,
we got to hit
Bryan.
that top of the hour.
Minutes is easy. Okay, so, going to, okay, Bryan, if you don't believe in the rapture and you don't believe in, all these biblical prophecies and the book of Revelations, and by the way, the book of Revelation does not have an S at the end.
Right.
So the moment someone starts telling you when Jesus is coming back and say they were reading in Revelations, just
Just don't
discount them.
listen to 'em
Just
anymore.
stop. Just stop it, okay? So what do you believe, Bryan? It's called postmillennialism, partial preterism, or just an optimistic eschatology. And what that means is that Christ created, and it goes all the way back to the garden, and the purpose was that the garden was cultivated and the rest of the world was wild. Okay, and the point of Adam and Eve was be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth, take dominion of the earth, and
Go
exercise
make the rest of
dominion.
the earth like Eden.
Go make the rest of the earth like Eden, heavenize earth.
Okay.
And they literally did it through a form of colonizing. It was like, go to this ground, extract the natural resources, make it beautiful, and make sure that they obey God.
Right.
That was the whole point. Okay, and then they fell, and then when Christ,
So there was, quote, heaven on earth,
Yes.
Eden on earth was the,
Yes.
was the plan.
that was the plan.
Okay.
Fall happens, kicked out of the garden. You've got all the 4,000 years or whatever it was from the fall to where Christ comes. And during that time, that same war between the seed of the woman and and the serpent. Okay, that's going on all throughout the Old Testament. And the serpent is trying to snuff out the seed of the woman, so the seed of the woman doesn't crush his head. And you see that Cain and Abel. What happens? Cain ends up killing Abel. Abel was the line. Okay, so then comes Seth, and I can go into way more of this stuff. But anyway, this war is taking place. Well, when everything fell during the fall, Adam and Eve looked around and everything looked pretty much the same. But over the next thousands of years, things really got bad, and so it progressively got worse until Christ came.
Okay.
And if you've ever seen or read C.S. Lewis, when Aslan comes, Narnia was always winter and never Christmas. It was frozen.
Right.
And the witch was an ice queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's riding around on a sled and everything's frozen, everything's miserable. But when Aslan came, everything began to thaw out.
Yes.
And be beautiful.
Everything
again.
starts to bloom,
but it
turn
was a
green.
slow thawing.
Right.
And so everything was getting worse, and then Christ comes. And the other thing we don't think about, we think that Christ just came to redeem sinful man. Well, no. I mean, you can read all throughout the New Testament references to that the creation is groaning and longing, right? Because it is also under the curse. It's been subjected to the curse. So all of creation. So when Christ comes back and his blood touches the earth, not only is he providing a way for sinful man to be set back right with him, the earth is now thawing from its wickedness, and it's now moving in a positive direction.
Right.
And it says every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. The waters will, the knowledge of the Lord will cover the earth as the waters cover the sea.
Okay.
I butchered that one, but that's the idea. Is that all of the earth will be Christian. Christ purchased it with his own blood, and it's our job, like in the Louisiana Purchase, where we have this huge thing of land, and it's like, okay, now we bought it, now we got to go fill it.
Right.
And make it
Right.
America, okay? Christ purchased all of creation with his own blood, and now we need to go be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth and exercise dominion, and that's bringing Christ's rule to bear on the earth. And the way that we were doing that for thousands of years was colonization.
Yeah. And from a secular viewpoint, it's a better plan.
It is.
Unfortunately, we were doing such a good job at one time that everyone forgot that was the mission.
Yeah.
And then they've used our goodness against us.
Correct.
To push us back into a corner while they evangelize the world for whatever secular communism, Marxist, Bolshevik, pagan, atheist plan they possibly have.
And if you want to see a window into the last great colony that was colonized, my podcast that publishes today at 3 p.m., I talked to a guy who is from Rhodesia, and Rhodesia is the last amazing Christian British colony, and it is the most misunderstood story on the planet of what actually happened in Rhodesia and why it's now Zimbabwe.
Did the world governments, the ones that we live under now, the global governments,
Globo Homo.
yes, they turned their attention to Rhodesia and helped destroy it. Did they not?
Because it was a Christian capitalistic society.
Yeah, and it needed to be destroyed.
Yes, because they were racist, and it was the furthest thing from racist. 70% of their military was made up of Africans who loved Rhodesia because they were prospering really quickly. Prior to Cecil Rhodes coming over there and colonizing, life expectancy was 22 years old because the African tribes were killing each other. They come in, extract the natural resources, build a civilization that's glorious. Rhodesia was literally, it looked just like Los Angeles in the 60s. Okay, it was beautiful. Skyscrapers, planes, trains, automobiles, the whole thing. Amazing. And the life expectancy of the Africans that were participating in that society went up to the 55, 60. Well, now in Zimbabwe, it's back down to 22 again. And there's no running water, no electricity, and it's trash.
That sounds like something needed to be destroyed.
Yeah.
When will that podcast come out?
3 p.m. today.
And it's called 1819 News, the podcast?
That's right.
Best place to find it?
YouTube is the easiest, but if you're an Apple Podcast, Spotify person, it's there wherever podcasts are found.
Bryan Dawson, the head guy over at 1819 News, has been with me. It's always a joy, Bryan. I appreciate it, buddy. We got to take a break. We will be back with ANU Bank. Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and Eubank is now with me. Bryan Dawson was with me for a while. You didn't sit in the exact same place Bryan did. It's okay. All right, I got you. No, you're good. You're good.
He's about a foot taller than I am.
He is. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit because he has a big head, and you don't have a big head. So we're going to flick it over here, and we're going to zoom in on Ann. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the live. There you go. Look at that. Welcome in, Ann. Sky is with us. Sky, what was your take on Bryan's commentary?
We can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear what? No, we can hear him.
I can't hear him.
How about now? Can you hear him?
Did you turn me on? No.
You're on, Ann. You're on. We hadn't figured out how to make you hear people. You can't hear as well as other people.
I got it.
Your hearing is worse than Bryan's then. Because remember, that's the level that he was okay with, and you're 25% higher up.
Well, that is a little bit. Let's work with that one. You did turn that up.
Women aren't hard to deal with at all.
I'm easy.
Is that perfect for you?
Quit that. I'm easy.
She's
Just
easy.
to ask anybody.
Mm-hmm. We can tell. So what'd you think, Sky?
I still can't hear Sky.
Why do people think that? Why is there so much pushback on that kind of discussion? You get a lot of people who automatically, I mean, many times it's the church folks who are like, well, we don't need to, we run and hide from this idea that it's going to be a quote unquote theocracy. But I got you. That makes sense. Because we have to see, Ann, that they fully, you're still focused on figuring that out, so I'll just keep talking to Sky. Because we know we're going to live under somebody's sets of rules. The fact that our schools, many of our schools are all about, teaching sex acts to little kids, having drag queen story hour, teaching about every religion under the sun, about how great it is, how awesome it is. You've seen the clips of the different schools or read the things where they'll have a big study on the Quran and you got to understand and be accepting and all that kind of stuff. But the first time somebody says, well, okay, well, we just want to have a Christmas. Well, I mean, we don't even have Christmas break. So Christians or people in the West, we just seem like we just got a weird view of things. Like our worldview cannot be expected to be lived by, but everyone else's worldview, you can come in and teach it to my children and tell them it's superior to my worldview. We've got to get over that hump. That seems to be the real key. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Right.
Is that the term? That's a sweet way to put it. But it kind of tells the story.
Yeah, no,
we're to be warriors.
Yes.
On this earth. That's the point Bryan makes that I always enjoy hearing him, because he has the true fire, the spirit of Christ, the warrior, in him.
I
always refreshing to hear.
I always wonder. So we have this belief that our government, the United States, is founded on we the people. So we the people are the kings And God clearly expected the kings to rule in a godly fashion. He clearly expected those kings to say, here's what the law says. Our laws will reflect what the law says, the divine law. So my feeling is that if the United States is not following the divine law, then we are responsible because we are the kings, we are the voters, we are the people. And at the same time, again, as a society, we're against the things that God says is right. And I do not understand why Alabamians especially have an aversion to, hey, look, we're just not going to have this taught in our schools. We're not going to allow these things to happen because it's clearly not good for our flourishing. It's not good for the future of our children. And that's why I point out, trying to make the argument that Marxism, communism, Bolshevism, paganism, I'm one of the few that throws that in there. The experiment with that is done. It has failed. We have done that for decades and decades and decades now, mostly because of the United States Supreme Court, and it has failed us. We have more people with mental health issues. We have more suicide. We have more unhappiness. We have more anxiety. We have just a rougher, dirtier, more crass civilization. And you can see it every day. We all see it in what we called Southern culture at one time, evaporating and becoming more and more and more like the rest of the country. And at some point, somebody has to stand up and say, here is what the problem is. We have turned away from God, and we're facing what happens every time a nation does that.
The consequences have come home.
Coming from a child of the 60s.
Okay.
When we went into the whole free love, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, removing God from schools, removing God from government, and we the people did not stand up and demand that not be done.
Right.
Then they had free reign over our schools, our colleges, our government, and then we were taught we must cooperate. You're not being cooperative.
You're not being tolerant. You're not being very kind either.
Yes. And instead of standing up and saying this is a Christian nation, which we were founded as a Christian nation, we allowed that because we were afraid to be seen as uncooperative and not nice to people who weren't like us.
Right.
And that flourished, 70s, 80s. And, I mean, we've come to the point now where Christians are such a minority, where before we were not. You add up all the Christians in the United States now compared to the past, and you will be shocked.
Yeah, and I don't think the polling actually does justice when it says, how many Christians there are, because a lot of folks will classify themselves as that who aren't genuinely. I saw something that said that there were 3 big changes in 1970, 71, 72, the abortion ruling, it ended up being the pornography ruling, and what's the third one? I figured you would probably remember, but it was 3 big things that really struck at the root of American society.
Right.
And they all came out from the United States Supreme Court in the same year.
Yep.
And really began to undermine society in general.
Right. But it started back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. That was the ultimate point of what was going there. And it's funny because I'm young enough to remember that whole time of the 60s has been characterized by the left as like the age of the loss of innocence.
Yeah.
Like that was like something wonderful, and I'm like,
Right.
wait a minute, if you're just looking from the outside and you say this was the time that America lost her innocence,
Drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
you're like, wait a minute, that's not a good thing.
Nope. Elvis. I mean, we could, the rocking hips.
Right. But that's also when the government really ramped up
Yeah,
its
with LBJ.
its undermining of society
Yeah.
at the same time too.
Well, when they passed the Civil Rights Act and all the stuff that LBJ did. Are you about to push the buttons?
I am about to go to
Okay,
break.
we'll come back.
We'll be right back.
I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Show you can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that,
And,
Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
All right, back into the big news of the day. Actually, I don't know how many of the mainstream media is actually going to make a big deal about this, but Dr. Anthony Fauci is testifying. I think you call it testifying before a hearing. You're a finely tuned machine, Ann Eubank. You haven't moved that knob hardly at all. Is that it? Is that perfect?
That's it right there.
So Fauci is testifying. Sky, you had said that Fauci would plead the fifth. What was your number? 27 times?
Well, I was asked, and it was requested. I didn't volunteer this out of the clear blue, but I was asked to predict the over-under on Fauci pleading the fifth, and I came up with 28.
Yes. Are you winning or losing?
I was way under. I'd have been beat to death. That's why I don't gamble. Fauci is now, get this, at the very latest, he is over 90.
He has pled the fifth 90 times.
90 times.
Well,
See-
he has to. Every question they ask him, if he doesn't plead the fifth, then, and if he answers, he loses all the rest of the plead the fifth,
Okay.
because if you ever interrupt your plea,
Right.
then they all go away. So if he doesn't want to answer any questions, he has to continue pleading the fifth.
So you can't.
He will lose.
See, I thought you could just walk in and say, hey, I just plead the fifth on everything. I don't care. If you ask me if I want a cup of water, I plead the fifth. I'm not answering any questions. I plead the fifth. I'm out of here.
But they still ask the question because they want the public to understand the questions they're asking him.
Okay.
Because they have the evidence.
Okay.
And he has to either A, answer it, or B, plead the fifth. And once he gives up his fifth, he also gives up his pardon.
Really?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah, but he's pardoned up until the moment the auto pen signed
Right.
the pardon.
But
After
so you're
that,
saying
he's
if
on
he
his own.
answers anything, can all the things he was pardoned for come back to life?
Because
No, just new charges that
New
after,
charges, which
after
would be
the pardon, which would
perjury.
be perjury. Yes.
yeah, because that'll be perjury.
Right.
You should see this. I'm checking it out. I've got it on closed
Is
caption.
it better than Hillary Clinton with the I do not recall?
No, but if you want to see what pure evil looks like,
He is pure evil.
this is some darkness that, and some slime that just doesn't wash away. Man.
And you can see it in the face,
Yeah.
the way the darkness of his creases in his
Right.
face. He is possessed.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Let's go ahead to
there's
Soulja
there's
Boy.
no conscience whatsoever
none.
behind it. It's terrible.
It's crazy. I'm gonna have to watch part of it. I know they started early today,
Money.
but maybe Soulja Boy's been watching it. Soulja Boy, welcome to the program. Thank you for listening.
Under the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline.
I'd like to ask Soulja Boy another question.
Excuse me, do not interrupt me. This is an official document
Okay.
based upon my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Very good job. Good job.
No, that's exactly. I wrote it down exactly what he said.
Is he saying
under
that
the
exact
advice of-
same sentence over and over and over?
Exactly. And I'm going to use the same one too. Under the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Wow. So
And you know what's so funny? You know what it reminds me of? The Elf on the Shelf, like evil version.
I like the Elf on the Shelf.
No, he reminds me of a rat.
Yeah.
No, he reminds me of He reminds me of an evil garden gnome. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
that little gnome. Hey, you guys missed the best parts of it. Let me tell you the highlights. Since
Okay.
you all missed it. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, he came on and did his first 5 minutes. You know, he got to say his first 5 minutes before anybody said anything, right?
Okay.
And Laura Ingram's behind him. You should see Laura Ingram's face behind him because she's a lawyer too, okay?
Yep.
Because she's behind him. So first thing he goes and plays my favorite card besides the race card. He played the victim card. Oh my God, he played that victim card so well. And then they started asking him, and he started pleading the fifth. But then it got better an hour into it. His lawyer wanted to hold something up or say something at the table. And he was told not to be at the table. He said, "There's plenty of rows back there." He said, "You say something one more time, I'm going to have you." He said, "I can't have you arrested because it's not a court of law." He said, "But if you speak out of turn one more time, this is about Mr. Fauci, not about you." He says, "I see that he's got about 12 different lawyers here. And I see that you're one of them up here with him." And he says, "I don't want to hear another word out of it. Another word, and I will have you escorted out of here." And what did he do? He kept opening his mouth. It was great television. Oh,
Did Rand Paul have him escorted
Rand
out?
says, escort his rear out of here.
That's strong. I'll give Rand Paul credit. That is strong.
Yeah, Rand has been on this warpath since day one, where the rest of the country was just totally ignored what he was talking about. So,
And the Democratic individuals that were on this committee, guess what they blamed it on, and blamed this whole questionnaire and blamed everything on?
What?
Guess.
What?
Donald Trump. They blamed it all on Trump. Oh my God! They talked about everything about
That
Donald
Trump told Fauci to do all this stuff?
No, the anything that we're here about is all about Trump, and what happened is all about Trump. Everything was Trump, 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 Trump. These Democrats and you should have seen. Oh my God, Rand Paul just looking at him, it's like shaking him. I can't believe these people are on my committee. And you got to be, because it had to be bipartisan committee, because that way everybody got their fair share. And I got to give Rand Paul props. He did not interrupt any of those Democrats selling their anti-hate, MAGA and Trump speeches. But nothing was better. I taped it on video. I thought the best thing ever on television in politics was when during the debate, Trump the first time, the Republican debate, when he called Mark Rubio small hands. I love it. That was my favorite. But this was better. He gave the lawyer at least 10 times told him, don't say another word. He kept warning. He didn't just say throw him out. He gave him warning. Say another word. Just don't say another thing. He said, there's plenty of empty rows back there that you could have sat at. There's no reason, and I even mentioned it before we started, that we recommended that you shouldn't sit there with the rest of you, half a dozen lawyers back there for Mr. Fauci. It was pathetic. And here's my question. Let me ask you this, Ann. Okay. Here's an interesting question. Why, if you're so innocent, and you got these questions, he cried about, how'd you get a hold of my diary? Oh, God.
Oh, that is a good question. What was the answer? Or did they say we don't have to tell you?
No, he pled the fifth again.
They subpoenaed Rand Paul.
Right.
Oh, they subpoenaed the diary.
Subpoenaed it, and all of the information, anything he wrote, blah, 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 and it came with
every question you wanted to know.
Public
Rand
record.
Paul had them written, and he had them in order. He was so super organized. Yeah. He had a crew that did all the research. He had everything, and you could just see Fauci. He kept pulling his card up again. And again. Under the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer, and based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
So I wonder if the international court can get him for crimes against humanity, since the American court can't.
I don't know.
Maybe Modani, the communist mayor of New York, can have him arrested for war crimes.
Maybe, hopefully. Hey, Soldier Boy, thank you.
I mean. Yeah, but
later. Good job. Yeah, I'm glad Soldier Boy was watching that, because that's a fascinating thing. I was talking to somebody else earlier. What kills me about the Fauci deal, there was no reason for Joe Biden to pardon. And of course, with the auto pen, Joe probably doesn't know anything. But when Fauci was pardoned before Biden left office, people had to ask the question, well, what are you pardoning him for? Why would you? So that brings up, was there collusion? Did the White House know that Fauci had committed crimes, or that Fauci had been saying one thing publicly, pushing for one thing as holding his office, pushing for things that cause people to have health issues, while he privately knew that wasn't true? I mean, his role in the health industry for the government is to keep people healthy and safe, not to advocate ways to kill off more people. So the question is, was there a plan? And did the White House know these crimes had been committed? That's why they pardoned him.
Actually,
we got to take a break before you answer.
Okay.
I want people to hear your answer on the other side. We'll be back.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
you can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
We have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil, and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia, and we've got to get with it. Got to fight the fight. We got to get after it. It's ridiculous. I'm just tired of great Americans being ripped to shreds, history going away, and all of us cowering around because we're afraid somebody's going to call us a bad name. It is time to save the republic. It was early in the morning when Fauci rode into the town.
He didn't ride in.
Didn't have any answers.
No.
He's got a lot of attorneys for an innocent man. And look, I'm glad that he can afford to pay for them all.
Good gosh, do you know how much money he made since he owned the COVID shot? He was part owner of the COVID shot.
Was he really?
Yes, he was. Yes,
Is that allegedly?
No, that's not allegedly.
So he had a financial stake
Yes.
in the COVID shot?
Yes.
Personally?
Yes. So
Wow.
as I go on, he was the head of the NIH that was paying North Carolina University to develop gain of function on the viruses to use as a biological weapon.
No, that's the part I'd never heard.
Yeah.
I knew they were experimenting with gain of function, but I didn't know that the goal was as a bioweapon.
Yes. So when Congress found out and made it against the law
To do gain of function research in the United States.
because the only reason you would do gain of function
is for a weapon.
is for a weapon.
Because even if you, it's dangerous
Yes,
is the
very,
point.
very dangerous
Right.
to the human population.
Mm-hmm.
So when Congress outlawed it, instead of stopping it, he sends it over to China, and there were several labs actually, but the Wuhan lab is the one that it made an escape from, whether accidentally or on purpose.
Or accidentally on purpose.
Yes, because that's never been discussed, because everybody continues, oh, it came from the wet lab. Well, the wet market. Well, no, it didn't. It came from the Wuhan lab.
Right.
And so when it escaped the World Health Organization, China tried to contain it, but when they couldn't, the World Health Organization got involved, and we all know where that leads to.
Mm-hmm.
So when they took over, it was like, we're going to use this to call, and it was all a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Once it escaped, they implemented Bill Gates and the WF's worldwide pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic plan.
Yeah. We call it the plandemic.
That makes a lot of sense. By the way, in case people are wondering, apparently Fauci was doing his diary entry. See, Sky, yesterday I envisioned that Fauci has a little book and he's writing he's journaling like we talked about, right? No. He was typing it in his electronic diary, and he apparently was using a government computer.
Boom. And that's how they were able to subpoena the
it.
information right there.
I don't think it was ever turned in. I think they got it off his government computers because they have access to that no matter what.
So
public records.
Yeah, whatever they subpoenaed, it was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was
but
the way.
But they got it from the government.
Yeah, I don't know where they got it, but what I heard on the TV was somehow when they subpoenaed, that was in the papers that were delivered. So they must have
I
subpoenaed.
wonder if somebody messed up.
I don't know.
Do you think he'll go home and hang himself?
No.
We're not that lucky.
Heck no.
Not a chance.
I mean,
He's got more money. I mean, all he has to do is go buy him an island and sit like Gates and all the Epsteins and all the crazy people.
I'm trying to relate to this. Put yourself in the other person's place. I just can't get there. And the only thing I've been watching this. I'm watching this man's face as these questions, these damning questions, the evidence is crystal clear, and he just smirks.
Is it clear that to Americans? Now, look, I know they're going to get whatever the mainstream media feeds them, but if an American goes and watches this hearing, is there any way a reasonable person could look at this or listen to this, watch this, and say, Fauci's the innocent victim here, and they're after him? Does it just look like he is guilty, guilty, guilty? Not
with an open mind. However, I have been on some sites this morning, and they're just defending Fauci. They have no right to look at his diary. They won't discuss the facts.
Right.
Now, mind you, I'm not doing
How dare they look at his diary?
Right, and then deflect to Epstein Island or something else. But it's unbelievable. It's like being inside the mind of a mad person. These people that defend Fauci, he saved America. He's a hero.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, look at the facts. But
they can't. I don't get it. And what's funny about it is, even if you do the Epstein thing, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is my knee-jerk reaction. But Fauci is responsible for deaths of untold numbers of people.
Millions.
Not even just in the United States, but across the world.
Yeah.
And and yes, people have been abused and all kind of terrible things, and yes, deaths and the Epsteins. But I don't think the Epstein numbers are anywhere close to what Fauci's directly connected to, or it seems like. And we still have people going, well, that over there is worse. That over there is worse.
What about
this? How is this? I don't understand, Sky. It's difficult to talk to some people.
No, they cannot come off this ideological psychosis.
Well, that
they're afflicted with.
Yeah, there's still people taking the COVID vaccine.
Oh, yes.
What was our number?
Still driving around with masks on.
17.5% of the people in America were up to date on their COVID booster at the start of 2026.
With the information we have now that is available to everyone in the public, why would you do that?
They just refuse to be informed.
And we talked about it yesterday.
They are deciding to be ignorant.
I think it's because they believe, it was back to fear, Sky, that they were so afraid to die that they thought they were going to die because they already have a fear of it tremendously, and they believe that the COVID vaccination saved them from dying. Therefore, nothing else matters. They can't get beyond that in their mind, and therefore, they think Fauci gave it to him, and therefore, Fauci can't even be questioned. Here's the trivia question, and this is to see if you listened yesterday.
I didn't.
What 3 states had the lowest COVID vaccination rate?
I know Alabama was one of them.
Any guess on the other 2?
Mississippi and Tennessee.
Oh, so close. Mississippi was correct.
Okay.
And then Wyoming.
Number 1.
Who only has 2 escalators in the whole state in the city of Casper. Which I will know now until it's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I never would have thought.
Fascinating. It is fascinating.
But yeah, Wyoming doesn't have a whole lot of people, and those ranchers probably took their...
Well, they thought 60 miles of separation was going to be enough instead of 60 feet.
And they have fenbendazole and the dewormer and the ivermectin
right there in the barn.
There. So why not?
They were in good shape.
Okay, I got it.
Who do we have, Sky? What order should we take them in?
We have we need to hit a break before we bring somebody on because we're just going to have to.
Yeah, we'll have to cut them off. So let's go ahead and get that break going. We'll have Clark, we'll have Kyle, and Red Top's got something about. I'm trying to get to a segue for Will. I was trying to help. I was trying to give him a COVID shot segue because
you said the word.
I just set it up to be able to talk about the COVID shot on purpose. That's fine.
You can't win.
We're still talking about Fauci. We'll be back.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
We are back. Let's get out to your phone calls. Let's take them in
First,
order.
Scott, I'd like to make an announcement,
you got an announcement?
please.
What would that
yes,
be,
a public service show-related announcement. If you want to call up and complain about the show today or about the time you had to wait,
right,
or really anything else, you might want to put it off because I'm fighting the battle of my air conditioner.
The phone screener is not in a good mood today.
And it's very hot in the house.
And it makes
if
you
want to call
irritable.
Up, yes, it does. And it makes your minor complaints about having to wait for a free service a little annoying to me today. So take a day off on the
Just
complaint.
a warning, huh?
Yeah, really. Because the next person that calls me up and starts.
You are a nice guy, though.
I really am, man. But people take advantage of it, Scott.
Do they?
And yeah, that's what I was told earlier today. That people take advantage of
how nice you
being
are.
kind to them. So it ends this morning. Don't test me.
Don't test you.
Because I'll ban your butt. And I can
hear you. Well, look, there's a lot of people who want to call who think, well, I can't call because there's always the people who regularly call. No, I mean, hey, it's great. If you're a new caller,
you go
come
the head
on.
of the line.
You go to the head of the line. Absolutely. There's plenty of people.
I want to tell you what, it is so hot, and it's not the hot. It's the humidity. It's like walking around in a sauna.
The humidity is awful.
You said it, sister.
I do not sweat, but I was outside yesterday picking peas, and my shirt was soaking wet, and that is just, I just didn't, I'm like, what in the world is going on? But I heard this morning that it's going to blow out.
When?
So, next couple of days.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would.
Let's go to Clark. Clark, welcome to the program. We'll go see if we can get Clark and Kyle in. Clark, welcome in.
Hey, Scott. Hi, Miss Eubank.
Good morning.
Hey, Clark.
So, Miss Eubank.
Yes.
I have heard Anthony Fauci compared to the elf on the shelf, and I believe you alluded that he looks like a rat.
Yes.
And I don't disagree with either of those, but just go ahead and admit it. You found Robert Conrad rather fetching in Wild Wild West, correct?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. We hit a nerve.
I love him.
Yes, you did. Who was his arch nemesis more so than everybody else? Dr. Miguelito Loveless.
Yes. Wasn't
A
that?
malignant dwarf that was always using science to attack the United States of America.
Yes.
I think we should have a DC production. Anthony Fauci is Miguelito Loveless. And let's see, Pete Hegseth, put a waistcoat on him and them tight breeches, and you got James West.
Well, Hegseth, I think, is a little bit taller, but I'll take it.
Okay. Then you got Marco Rubio. He wears all the hats, so he gets to be
What's his
he
name?
gets to be Artemis Gordon.
Artemis, yeah.
Yes. Now, I will admit, Rand Paul deserves a part. I have not figured that out yet. But, you know, if we've ever had a real-life supervillain, he's it.
Yeah. I agree.
Now, somebody said something about the mask and people still wearing them. You know, I think the mask really served a good purpose in that you had real-time data on what percentage of the population was compliant, and you could get that without having people actually bleat like a sheep.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Well, you got Kyle waiting. He's probably got good stuff, and I don't know. I think we ought to be working on redoing Wild Wild West.
You got it.
Fauci is Miguelito Loveless.
And they now know, those of us who resist.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a list of that. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, welcome to the program. I hope you're well. Kyle?
Hello.
And Miss Eubank.
Hey, good morning.
I just wanted to, there's a couple of points. Now, Rand Paul went in there with a big iron on his hip today because he's not playing games anymore. He threw Fauci's attorney out. He's not playing games. Okay, he wants to know. The thing about it is, I got a couple of questions. How do we know that a blanket pardon from an auto pen is even valid to start with?
Well,
good
yeah,
question.
Trump has asked that question. Nobody has answered him yet.
Yeah, and a blanket, you know, not even an auto pen, but blanket is like, okay, I'm going to pardon you for whatever you might do or whatever you might have done. See, that's not the way that works.
That's what I think too.
And then you got to think about what Fauci is saying. He's claiming his Fifth Amendment rights, and the Fifth Amendment says that he may incriminate himself. Okay, if he opens his mouth, he's going to incriminate himself. There's no he may about it.
Okay.
But he's a criminal. I mean, those are just two things that stand out to me. I don't know that anything will happen, but I applaud Rand Paul for not letting this thing go.
You got it.
I mean, you know, there are some things I don't agree with Rand Paul on, but Rand Paul's got this dead to rights.
Absolutely. Great call, Kyle. I appreciate it, man. We got to go to break. We'll be right back. Everybody, this is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm here, Big Sky Mountain Moses here, and Eubank is also with us. And
we're going to have to find me a nickname. My nickname from everybody else besides you is Ace, because those are my initials, AC.
Well, that can't be it then.
No, we have a rule. We have a standing rule here.
So,
Sky learned it when I got here. You can't like your nickname.
Right. You can't give yourself your own nickname either.
I just know you cannot.
So we got to find me a nickname. You know, y'all two have to think about it. And ladies out there, I'm tired of all these men calling in with their opinions. And I think ladies and women and warriors are leading the battle against this stuff, and y'all need to call in and give your opinion, because we'll talk to anybody. So the number here is 1-800-289-9228. Ladies, I challenge you to call in and give your opinion.
Very good.
Because I'm tired of listening to these men.
You sexist. That's going to be her nickname.
Ed makes a valid point.
Sexist Eubank.
Yes, and all are welcome. But if you're hesitant, trust me on this. I remember long ago when I was a little radio listener, and I finally made that first call to the disc jockey, and I thought, man, what was I apprehensive about?
Yeah,
and it works the same way. I've talked to people over and over again, and they say the same thing. Those first callers.
Right.
Why did I wait so long?
They don't want to sound silly, but there's no silly. And if my good friend Dawn Ray would ever call in instead of just texting me during
the
program,
show, it keeps you, it makes you sidetracked. No, I got you.
So, Dawn, if you want to talk, you know
call
as much as I know.
Well, look, here's what I used to say, that just go ahead and call, because you can't say anything that would be so dumb that it would be dumber than something I have said.
That's
and
true.
I'm the host. So you got that one. But I want to throw a second part in. You're probably not going to say anything so dumb that's dumber than some of the things some of the people who call all the time have said. So if the host and a lot of regular callers don't mind embarrassing themselves, go ahead. And you don't have to use your real name. You can be... Ari from Arab, whatever
it doesn't
you want to
matter.
do. You can be
pick
somebody
your own
else.
nickname as a caller.
Yeah, they're not going to let me pick my nickname, but
you as a caller
can
have your own nickname. And if you've always wanted to have a different name, like, Supreme Gladiator of the Universe, you can call and
hey, I like
have
that one.
You want to be that one, Ann?
I like that one.
That's out.
All right.
Okay. 1-800-289-9228. First-time callers go to the top of the list.
And that's always been the rule.
Yeah.
Major victory for Donald Trump, believe it or not. This story is from the New Republic, which is not a conservative outlet. Trump gets major legal victory on mail-in voting restrictions.
Yay!
For now. An appeals court is letting Trump move forward with his executive order that would change. Now, this is from the New Republic, okay? I'm going to give you exactly the subheadline. An appeals court is letting Trump move forward with his executive order that would change voting as we know it. First sentence. Listen, this is how the left sees things, okay?
Yeah.
Mail-in voting is a fraud machine.
That's all it is.
At its best. Mm-hmm. It just clearly allows people to vote illegally. That's just the way it is.
That's what they do.
You can't keep it straight. You just can't.
Between that and the pumped up voter rolls with people who aren't really real, that's the two mechanisms they use.
Right. Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you send a whole bunch of ballots out to people, and you send 4 of them to my apartment because the last 3 people didn't change their thing. So I have 4 ballots. And some of these states don't require any ID, and they don't really check the signature. So I just fill out all 4 of them, send them back. I mean, look, I know who. I'm voting for people.
Yeah.
I'm voting 4 times 4 other people. You send it in.
Yeah.
Or somebody goes through the neighborhood and collects them all and does them all for you and sends those in.
And gets paid to do that.
And gets paid to do that. Listen to this sentence. This is what we deal with. In a blow to voters everywhere, clearly making it a negative. In a blow to voters everywhere, a federal appeals court just made it easier for President Donald Trump to suppress mail-in voting. The midterms are 3 months away. Now, they didn't say anything incorrect except for a blow to voters everywhere. Yes, Donald Trump wants to suppress mail-in voting. He absolutely does.
Absolutely.
Because it's a horrible thing. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit affirmed a lower court's decision Tuesday, arguing that a Democratic lawsuit challenging Trump's mail-in voting executive order was premature. This result could have disastrous implications for the upcoming midterm elections. Not only does Trump's executive order direct the Department of Homeland Security to create a national citizenship registry list, but it also orders...
Whoa.
You already have that.
That's bad.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't bad, but...
I didn't know that was in there. That's a national voter list.
They already have that.
No, all the states have the voting list.
The states have the official list.
Yes.
But this is, hey, look, you got to make sure everybody is a citizen. Well, who did you check? Well, we checked Ann's a citizen, and Scott's a citizen, and Carl's not a citizen. And so, I mean, look, I understand, but you don't think they already have it? Just like they already have the list that says who applied for a pistol license?
Well, there are states...
Although they're supposed to do away with that.
There are states that have refused to give the federal government their voting list because it's unconstitutional.
Well, that's not why they gave it. That's why they refused.
Well, no, but it's still...
they refused because they have illegal aliens on their list.
A national voting list is unconstitutional.
Yeah. Under what?
The Constitution. You want me to go find it?
Yeah, what's the argument that you can't have it? Because you have
states
Social Security is unconstitutional.
The states control the voting.
Yeah.
Not the federal government.
But isn't Social Security unconstitutional?
I would think so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we just start arguing about whether they have list or don't have list, and they are.
But Social Security isn't mentioned in the Constitution.
So it makes it unconstitutional.
The states. Yes, it does.
The states control the elections.
Yes.
But I guess the argument would be, and I'm not for it.
You're just telling me it happens.
I'm just saying it's there. Yes, it's already there.
So here we go with this creep, this government creep.
Right.
That is the reason we are where we are today.
And part of the creep is because people are cheating.
And we turn it over.
And there's nobody to appeal to.
Right. Because the states aren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Which is what I've been arguing for how many years?
Right. Well, the Supreme Court causes some of this problem because when Texas and other states said, hey, they're cheating in Pennsylvania, they're cheating in Georgia, they're cheating in Michigan, and this can't be allowed because you're diluting our votes properly cast in our states, and the Supreme Court said you have no standing. Right. Even though the Constitution says explicitly that the job of the Supreme Court is to deal with disagreements between states.
That's right.
So they punted on that one, and now we're moving down the road to National Citizenship Registry list, which, think about it, though, we had to have had that when we had E-Verify, when we were all fired up about E-Verify, because E-Verify says whether or not you're a citizen and allowed to vote.
E-Verify goes to Social Security.
Within Social Security is what? A federal agency.
Yeah.
So that's my argument, is we may be calling it this when it comes to voting, but we've had this list since at least when they started Social Security. Because originally you weren't supposed to get Social Security unless you were a citizen of the United States, and they started doing the Social Security cards and all that kind of stuff. So just because they've got the piece of paper over in that building, but we don't want a piece of paper over in this building.
Yes, but it doesn't have voter registration. So you're
saying it would have been okay if Trump had just called it the check it against the Social Security list?
And actually, Social Security only has people who have Social Security numbers.
Which is almost everybody who can
Well,
vote.
when I came, in my day, not everybody had a Social Security number. Now,
Right.
when you're born, you get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have a list.
They have a list of Social Security numbers.
This is one I'm going to win. We're going to be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason, your news and headline headquarters.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
You can learn things, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you.
But that's true, and I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I am serious.
We have to stop kowtowing to every little thing that they have said is bad and evil and they don't get to decide what is right and wrong. I'll bank my money on what God, the creator of the universe, says is right and wrong. It's worked very well for Western society for 2 millennia. And Welcome back in, everybody. Well, we're having fun here during the break. I was checking out 1819 News. Craig Monger's piece, UAB receives $750,000 from the feds to study.
Can you say that on air?
I think you can, but let me get this straight.
As long as it's anatomically correct, you can say it.
Transgender men are really women. Is that right? I always mess up on my trans definitions because it's transgender women are really men. So transgender men are really women. So they came with God-given parts.
I think you've got it.
And UAB is getting $750,000 to study vaginal health of transgender men. I guess it's all good till you.
I don't go there. Just stop
They
right
need to
now.
spend some of that money on analyzing and studying that sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got rid of it, would you still be studying it?
Scott,
I'm
digging.
asking.
Just stop.
Let's go out to phone calls.
Yeah,
Is this Samantha first?
people really do this. Okay, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so ridiculous, but they actually. Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
They
That's
sit
why
around, you know, and they go,
I
well,
want to go
you
on
know.
to the next.
Ann doesn't even want to know how the
I
study's
don't-
done.
I don't even want to talk about
I
it.
have questions.
Well, you,
But it's a real thing.
You
It's
go
not
ask-
a comedy show, Ann. This is
I'm
a real thing.
This is real health issues too. How do you not? Why do you not care about people's health?
Yeah. Okay.
Do not.
They should let one of you two, preferably, sit in on that panel.
Oh.
I would love. Now that would be an interesting show.
Hey,
Yeah. I told him not to even go there, but you know.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
There's some. Do not go read the article at
No.
1819 News because
I've
it
gotta do
expands
it.
on part of what it says their goal is and what they're going to be studying.
Oh my. Oh my.
Hey,
Yeah, I've gotta do
Sky,
it.
can we go to Samantha?
Yes, that's a great segue.
Thank you.
Well, I
Welcome
tried to
the
bring
show.
a topic up that was relevant to women.
Stop. Go. All right, Samantha's on. Let's give her her undivided
Hey,
attention.
Samantha, welcome to the
Samantha.
program.
Sorry you had
God, thank you for taking my call.
Ah.
It fits
This is
perfectly.
Samantha.
This is
This is
not
Samantha from White
funny.
County. I'm a real woman. You wanted a real woman.
I did.
to call in.
I really, really did. I guess
I've been
that's
enjoying
just.
the show. I've been enjoying the show. Scott and the other woman. I've been listening to y'all, and I'm lonely, Scott. I'm so lonely.
Yeah,
Man,
well,
there's a hell of an echo. Oh gosh, man, are y'all getting this echo?
Yes.
yeah.
Killing me. Okay. All right. Well, Scott, remember talking about the grant money and the vaginal? Oh my God, that's just a payoff to the school. Remember the study they did, the effect of cocaine on pigeons or doves or something, about a couple years ago, and that came out. All this millions of dollars had been spent on purchasing cocaine to study on these birds.
I'm not sure how many of the birds
yeah.
ever got the cocaine.
Yeah. Well, anyways, UAB, that's gonna be good money to keep the lights on. Oh man. There was actually something else I want. Dag nabbit. Anyways, enjoying the show, man.
Yes, it's kind of like that here too. We
sorry.
forget things often.
No, the whole echo threw me a little. I'm so sick. But anyways, please don't hesitate to call in.
Well,
God, you've always been a gracious host, and I appreciate the show and the time that you take with the callers and brothers. Okay.
Well, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate it.
You have a good day.
Samantha, yes, dear.
Samantha.
Stay out of trouble and if you keep your hands off my man. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Samantha. There's just, I mean, the jokes could just keep going
Oh, I
from
don't
this
wanna-
article, and
Do you want to hear about?
we got callers. We got another woman. I think we have a woman caller.
Okay, let's look.
Do we have another female caller, Scott? This is the
We do.
This is the
We have-
DEI portion of the program
Okay.
where we
Let's see
go
what Thunder
to.
wants to weigh in on.
Hey, Thunder, welcome to the program.
I tell you what, y'all have been all over the place this morning.
That is exactly my attitude.
That's one of the reasons you got to study this. Apparently, according to this this proposal, and I'm being serious.
Well, I tell you what, this latest proposal as far as studying the DEI men
Yes.
and their vagina, when they actually have one, I'll believe that crap.
I
That's
think
number
I
one.
think this group actually has one because this is the women trying to be men, and one of their concerns is since they've been taking more testosterone, it's made them more.
Are you really going to go
How
there?
about this? If they really want to pull a stunt like this, first of all, this crap needs to end.
Amen.
Amen.
There are,
and a women.
You know, there are less than 1% of the world's population actually truly has this problem. The rest of them have mental issues. And whether they're mental issues or with their own bodies, and looking at some of these, quote, trans people, I understand why they have issues with their bodies. They need to put the fork down, pick up their running shoes, and go walk.
Yeah, and not only is that good for your body, that clears your mind. So they'd have a clearer thought process about whether they are really a guy or a girl. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. And then we can go back to the Fauci issue. That man, I'm not one for public hanging, but I'll make an excuse with Fauci.
I think
he has murdered or been responsible for murdering more people than anyone else currently alive.
And I agree, but I think we need to draw and quarter him like they used to do in the old days. Hook him up to four horses.
They hung him first.
Yeah.
Well, they hung him first, and they hung him right up to the death. Then they pull them down, attach them to 4 animals, and they go in 4 different locations.
That works for me.
I don't have a problem with that at all. And this is for Auburn University that forced, and every other university out there for that matter, that forced their employees under pain, under threats of being fired for not wearing a face mask and not getting the vaccination. Every one of those universities need to be defunded by the federal government.
I agree with that one too.
This money does not go to them, and it should not go to them. When they start abusing their people that badly, that should stop.
I agree.
Funds like this absolute nightmare for the trans women or trans men or whatever they think they are, funds for that type of research, that is an abomination. It is an insult to every rational thinking American.
Yep.
Absolutely. At this point in time, if I were a mama and I had my child at UAB, my child would no longer be going to UAB. These private small colleges out there would be inundated with new students, and I would look at what the foundation of those universities are. Federal dollars do not need to be going to be spent for this trash. That needs to end. And for those people out there who don't like that I'm saying that, get over yourself. I really do not care.
That's a good
I'm
one.
sure there's somebody out there that feels like what I'm saying is wrong. I really do not care what you think.
That's a good call.
Thank you, Thunder.
Good. That's what I keep.
Thank y'all. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
That's what I keep saying. It's going to be the women who save this country.
Yeah, I know it's kinder and gentler when it's just us men.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. We'll be back. Welcome back in, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Golly, so much stuff to do, so little time. Let's go out to Razorback Cardinal. Welcome to the program. I hope you are well.
Man, I'm loving that bed music, man. That's awesome.
Ah, good.
But
yeah, I was talking to Sky when he answered the phone. The money going to UAB, and I got to give UAB props. I spent some time, unfortunately, at UAB last year about this time, and they took good care of me.
Yeah.
But the money that they're getting for this so-called study, I told Sky, I said, that's got to be one of the 7 signs in Revelation that shows that we're done.
Yeah.
That we're on the rocket sled downhill to you know where, and you know, and I know that they got to be politically correct on everything to get their little money, but you know, at some point, I would like for leadership to stand up and go, no, we don't want that. But you know, when I was there last year, being cared for, somebody asked me if I was triggered about something.
Did they really?
2 years old. Yeah. Are you triggered? Is anything that we're doing triggering you? And I'm like, I said, and of course, I'm an old construction worker and currently driving a dump truck. And the only trigger that I know is that is attached to a weapon.
Right.
And you know, or a tripwire. And I told the little girl that asked me that, she was coming in there checking I guess she was checking my psychological makeup or whatever. I said, let me tell you something. I said, don't ever use that word in this room again with me. I said, it's not going to go good for you. I said, if you want to see that actually happen, I said, use that stupid word with me.
So the word triggered you.
He was triggered by the word trigger.
Yeah, the word triggered me. Yeah, but I'm like, that whole study. I mean, and I'm old enough to remember when Al Gore was running for president. The Democrats were even upset about some university. I can't remember which university it was, and I want to say it was an Ivy League university that was studying the effects of how ketchup came out of a bottle.
I remember this.
And I'm like, even the Democrats were upset about the money wasted on some grant to some Ivy League university on does this ketchup come out better than this ketchup? And I remember the uproar about that. I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of waste in government. And now we got somebody checking transgender vaginal health of a transgender man, male, female, what?
Right.
A guy that doesn't have one.
No. That's the mistake. That's why we were trying to figure out the definition. These are women, so they come with the parts, but they want to be men. And of all the studies that you could have on this one, I mean, you know, maybe UAB would be the school that comes to the point and says, "Hey, yeah, you know what? This is a bad idea."
You think?
Okay, well, now, and see if they do that, if that's the case, where they go, "What are we looking for here?"
Right.
Because you know, we're okay. Yeah, everybody should have, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have that sort of health care. But
right.
If you got one of those, let's take care of it. Just like if you got one of these,
don't mess it up.
Let's take care of that.
That's exactly right.
You know, I mean, let's don't mess around with it. And I mean, let's even if you ain't using it, you got to maintenance. You got to do maintenance. Okay. I mean, otherwise it's going to go south on you. It's going to go bad. You know, I mean, we all know that. But I mean, well, if you want to wear a set of overalls and act like a guy, then that's fine. We just need to take care of the internals.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I don't care. And if you want to wear a dress and you got the other parts, and you want to wear a dress, well then okay, but you know, if something happens to that part, you can still get prostate issues.
Right.
And you know, even though you're wearing a dress, okay, well whatever, dude. We need to take care of your health. But let's don't throw a bunch of money at an insult the general public for something that, you know, if somebody had, and Sky said this when we were talking on the phone, if 30 years ago, if somebody had introduced this, they would have come and got them with some dudes with some white coats,
right?
And they would have put them in a padded room, and they would have said, okay, Bryan, dude's over here, he's something's wrong because he's thinking girls got guy parts and guys got girl parts, and he's got it backwards, and he is insisting on this. We need to check his mental issue. You know, he's healthy otherwise, but something's wrong with his brain.
That's a great point.
And again, it just shows that we are so close to the crevices that we're. I mean, the abyss is waiting. That's all it is. The abyss is waiting.
Oh yeah, we're off in the abyss. It's just how, you know, is there a lifeline tied to our ankle or something where it can stop us and maybe pull us back up? But we jumped off a long time ago. Razorback Cardinal, I appreciate you, buddy. Good call.
Thanks. Yeah, most of this could be covered in 7th grade hygiene class.
Well,
you don't need this billion, whatever the study is.
You know, it goes to the point that we still have a hard time trying to figure out, and that's why we were asking earlier.
We had to do the math.
Which one do you end up with if you put the word transgender men? That means it was not men who think they're transgender; it's women who are trying to be men.
Did I not tell you not to go
to go off this cliff?
Yeah,
it's important.
No,
it says that when you get all the testosterone, you start getting your tractors all revved up, and your hormones go crazy, and then you start chasing people around, and it says your microbiota could be messed up. I don't even want to know what that is, but it could be.
Yeah, and you went down that road.
Yeah.
This is real news.
Yeah, just take that money and ship them right on over to the psychology department.
Exactly.
Let's cut to the chase, y'all.
The heck with the OBGYN. Let's take it to the psychiatric.
We needed something that was lighthearted. We got Fauci up there. If we could have just put Fauci in charge of this instead of COVID, we would have been much better off. Let's take a break before
let's do that on that note.
Before we go to Charles I, we'll be back.
Freshen up just a bit here.
Every time I get a chance to listen to you, I just think how grateful I am and how much we need you on a national level so more people can hear you.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back in, everybody. The show is almost over, but we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, if they let us. But
after today, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Today's been rough, but we got it straightened out. You got to maintain that stuff.
Whatever.
Charles the First of Doheny, welcome back.
Hey, Ann. Hey, Scott.
Hey,
Great
buddy.
to talk to y'all.
Yeah. Thanks for waiting.
Listen, I know a whole lot about this whole thing going on at UAB that you may not remember. Now, listen, Gene Marazzo, the big pick for being with Scott Harris and another one from UAB, was Kay Ivy's pick for the coronavirus team. Do you remember?
I remember.
I do. We do.
And she took over Fauci's place, next person.
That's right. And she quit.
And listen, her expertise, even when Kay Ivy picked, because we need to look at every single person that one of our politicians puts on a team. If we do, we will find things that you just would not believe in your wildest dreams. Now, listen, that's what she did at UAB when she became our person for coronavirus, and Kay Ivy picked her.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember it, but Caleb Taylor in August of 2024 wrote an article because she saw that Trump was going to win. You got me?
Okay.
So she gave exactly $158,850 $158 plus $850 to her person, Olivia Van Gerwen, that took over for trans men's vaginal studies. Have you got me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I put the article, it's got all that in it, even back when she was there on my Alabama corruption site, if anybody wants to see their pictures and see the article and see that I'm not kidding about this.
Okay.
Like, it even references Caleb Taylor of August of 2024 and your program where I did it, okay? So I told everybody this was what was happening. But listen, it is really, really important. When somebody is like Kay Ivy or anybody in the future is picking somebody out, you need to research that team. You will be astonished at who they will pick and what they have done. Now, I was also going to tell you the thing about Fauci.
Okay.
Is he needs to tell, because when you tell, we can do stuff to stop mankind from being harmed by these type people in the future.
Okay.
Mengele got away. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
But the Tuskegee syphilis didn't. It got researched and everybody told. The 731 unit with all the bioterrorism in Japan, it got looked at in the 70s, so we could actually make rules and do things to prevent in the future. We are not doing anything to protect us from a Fauci in the future. These persons that get put in high positions that can harm a lot of people, they need to sign over that area of their Fifth Amendment rights. Not all of them and not every doctor. But if you are going to be in a position that can kill millions of people, you don't get a Fifth Amendment anymore. We get to know what was underneath you so we can see for future generations that history doesn't repeat itself.
Okay.
Good
Very good
call.
point.
Good call.
Yeah.
Thanks, Clark.
Hey,
thanks,
a lot.
Charles the First. I appreciate you, buddy.
Take care.
Take care. So what do you got that we should have talked about for an hour?
Yeah, well, the reason I'm here today, okay, I have 2 minutes.
Yes.
All right. On all of you out there, and there's a bunch of ladies and gentlemen that are going to be fighting against data centers. ALpolitics.com is running at Alicia Hagemaker's 6-part article about the infrastructure, the money, the doctrine, how all this is coming about. And y'all need to go out there and read it. It is shocking, the amount of information that you do not know, where it's coming from, the foreign money. Okay. What happens if you've ever posted on social media about a conflict in Gaza or any of the anything about a targeting system. There's a targeting system called Lavender. If you say anything about the Israeli war, it goes specifically. It will assign an individual threat score to you from 1 to 100 based on exactly what you're saying.
Really?
And all of that goes into a database.
If you write good stuff, does it erase like one of them?
Well, you probably get a 1. It's not hypothetical. The surveillance architecture is already running.
Mm-hmm. And we're just making it better.
And they have to have all these data centers for the digital CBDC, the digital IDs, the flock cameras, the safety flock cameras, which reads...
What's the company that's second behind flock that you...
Avedon.
Something like that.
Yes.
So a couple of towns get their
Yes.
flock cameras removed.
Yes.
And then the local municipality just puts in the next guy's cameras.
We had 2 St. Clair police officers removed from office yesterday, a day before, for abusing the information collected.
Right.
Go to alpolitics.com, read these 6 articles, and become informed, because I'm telling you, people, the government ain't playing.
They're serious.
And it's not just Alabama, D.C. We are playing with globalists, and their plan is power and control. Has no money, not the money, power and control.
Now we're power and control because they already got the money.
They got the money.
Well,
power and control.
And thanks for being on. We'll
Anytime.
talk to you next week.
Okay.
See you. We'll be back tomorrow. See y'all.